Ooh, scary stuff. The Brent Connor Show is back with a special Halloween edition and my lovely guest, Francis Reimers, right?
Yes.
Thank God I got that right. Well, this is going to be, this is a unique episode. This is a first because so far I've had a few episodes. I've known all my guests well. We don't know each other that well, so it might be a total disaster, right?
No, it'll be fine.
Yeah, okay. I hope so. I mean, I'm sure I'll like you no matter what, but I pray the
Yeah,
feeling's
everybody
going to be
likes
mutual.
me until they
So we're
don't.
what's that?
I said everybody likes me until they
Yeah,
don't. I
I think everybody likes you.
try.
So we're going to talk about a lot of things today. Halloween's over. It's November 1st. People are going to listen to this on the 2nd. We're going to get into Halloween, our favorites about Halloween. Maryland football, the tragedy and the, circus that surrounds that campus. Celebrity beefs. One particular beef that's not being talked about, but could be very interesting. And then, gender reveal parties, what people think about that. We're also going to, I want to know all about your business. You have started a company called Firestarter,
Hmm.
and you do branding, marketing, and public relations. So we're going to get into that. Obviously, you're located in DC. You in DC right now?
I am technically in Alexandria, which is right outside of DC, but we'll call it DC for those outside the DMV.
I am in the dump that is known as Baltimore.
What? Baltimore's not a dump.
Uh,
Salty Baldy
there's
has gotten better over the years for sure.
Yeah, I hear a siren go by every 5 seconds, so it's difficult for me to say that right now. There are certain parts that are nice that are getting better for sure. All right, so first things first. Halloween was yesterday. How was your Halloween week? It's always a week, not just the day. Did you go out? Did you dress up? What did you do?
I did. This is actually my first kind of adult Halloween. In years past, it's always been the Saturday night before Halloween, going out with the girls, getting wild, getting crazy, wearing
Oh,
inappropriate costumes. And this year, for a myriad of reasons, I did not go out on the Saturday night, and I defaulted to actually going out on Halloween, and it was beyond PG. I took my godson Bryce, who is 4, out trick or treating in his little neighborhood in Rockville, Maryland, and I couldn't have been more PG in my costume choice. I was a deer.
so you wore a costume while trick or treating with the kids. That makes me feel better because
Yes.
I did the same thing last night and I was the only one in the neighborhood.
We went to this like community parade, and
Yeah.
I told my girlfriend, Bryce's mother, I was very concerned that people were going to put me like on a child molester watch list because I was literally the only person there that didn't have a child of their own.
Well,
And
there's no way of knowing that.
I know, but I was just like, they're gonna know, they're gonna know, and also I had requested a sippy cup of wine in order to
Hmm.
endure said parade, and I was denied that by my girlfriend. She said I had to participate fully sober. I was not happy about that and voiced said displeasure, but it was a great night, and Bryce got more candy than his little body should probably have anyway. And it was great to spend time with my girlfriend Janae and her husband Matt, and it was a good time. Very PG, the most PG I've had since I was probably a child myself. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Very good. I did pretty much the exact same thing.
What does that
I
say
um
about us? Are we getting to a certain age?
I guess we're getting a little older. I don't know. Is that what that means?
I
I
guess.
dressed up as Thor of Ragnarok. I didn't have long blonde hair. I didn't have the mask or the shield. I had a beard and short brown hair, and I wore an eye patch. I don't know if you've seen the Avengers. He has an eye patch at the very end. So I did
Oh.
that. I walked around the neighborhood. This was at my sister and brother-in-law's house out in Newmarket, which is out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say we don't go too crazy, but we don't have we don't we have some drinks as we walk around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's allowed out there. So it wasn't a totally sober Halloween. But yeah, that's my life now. And I was the only one in the neighborhood dressed up too
I
as
mean,
an adult.
it's like get in the spirit. If you're going to be out, get into it, It's festive, it's fun. Might as well.
People are lame.
People
Speaking
are.
of lame, I got a lot of backlash about attending a gender reveal party over the weekend, which was for my brother and sister in law.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say a lot of backlash, but
Yeah.
people made comments, which is rude. It's not like we were talking about someone else's gender reveal party. I was like, hey, I'm going to my brother's gender reveal party. And people would
Yeah.
say, that's lame. I don't think it's lame. I think it's fun. I think anytime, any excuse to get family and friends together and eat and drink and party, who cares what the reason is? People
Ugh.
complain about 1 year old birthday parties too. Like, oh, that's so ridiculous. Why do I have to go to this 1 year old's birthday party? Yeah, I mean, he doesn't remember. She doesn't remember the birthday party. But do you really have to complain about every little thing? You have to complain about getting together with people? What do you think about a gender reveal party?
So I have a different take on gender reveal parties, mostly because
Oh God, are you one of those people that thinks the kid should wait till they're like 12 to decide what their gender is?
no, God, what? Wow, that went from 0 to 60. No, no, nothing quite that crazy. No,
Okay.
I my take on gender reveal parties is a little bit different, and part of it is to do with the fact that as a woman, I'm going to bachelorette parties and bridal showers and the
Yeah.
wedding, and then the kid is born, and you go to the first baby shower and you go to the second baby shower, and for me as a woman who is single with no children, I have spent
Ah.
a
Ah.
colossal amount of
How's that possible?
what
How is that possible?
that I have no children. It's
That
called
you're
it's
single
called
with no
science.
children.
I don't
A
know.
lovely lady like yourself is what I was
I don't
implying.
I don't know. I have actually made it a mission to have a significant other for New Year's because I've spent the past 4 or 5 New Year's single. So
Oh.
I'm taking open applications seriously because I'm over this. But
So
um
for the 76 to 124 people listening, if any of you are single males, you know where to get in touch with me.
yes, yes. Send
All right.
pictures, send a resume, send a joke. No, but for women, the whole concept of gender reveals, it it's a little like, for me, it's like really another thing. Like it because I haven't gone to a gender reveal for a family member, so maybe I would think differently if it was a family member. Mine is
Yeah.
mostly friends, sorority sisters, colleagues, that sort of thing. And it's gotten to the point that I'm just like, no, not another thing. And
Yeah.
but the other reason why I'm kind of anti gender reveal is I'm not so against the gender reveal itself. I'm against the worldwide broadcasting of said gender reveal.
Sure.
And I work in a world of putting everything in your life online. I do believe that you should just keep some things offline, and some things should just be for you and your spouse and your family to enjoy together without the whole world seeing
Isn't
what
it amazing some of the things people put out there, like their personal problems to their family beefs? It's just, is there
it's
anything secret or that you keep to yourself anymore?
no. And I a lot of people assume that my whole life is out there for public consumption because of what I do. I post
Yeah.
very regularly. And the honest truth is there is so much about my life that does not get published to social media out of respect for my family, out of respect for my friends. If and when I ever am dating somebody, I try to keep them away from public scrutiny as well, unless they want to be. If they want to be part of it, then have at it. But most people don't, and so I'm a big believer of you got to draw a line somewhere. And to me, these gender reveals are just becoming arms race of who can come up with the most creative, ridiculous, outlandish way to say what gender this child is. And to me, it's just like I don't like it because it's like we don't have to share that. Like I don't need to see you pitching a softball and it falling to the ground, but instead of getting hit for the.
Oh, that's pathetic. That's a bad sign for the
I
kid.
mean, these are terrible. So for me, I'm not anti gender reveal. I'm just anti the show of the gender reveal and people feeling the need that all of us want to know all about their gender reveal.
I see where you're coming from, and it was I was thinking as you were discussing this, my sister-in-law and brother did essentially the complete opposite. They had the gender reveal party, but they got mad at me for posting it on Snapchat. Well, I wouldn't say they get mad. They just said, "Don't do that." We took a picture of like the family, and I posted that, but they didn't post every single step of
Right.
them finding out the sex of the baby, and it was only family. They didn't invite all their friends. So
Right.
it does get to be a little too much when, especially there's multiple friends involved and you have multiple bachelor parties, weddings,
Yeah.
engagement parties, all that stuff. Then it gets to be a little too much. But by itself,
Yeah.
they're fun.
Well, and
But yeah, I see what you're saying. Having to go to a million different gender reveal parties for people that aren't in your family would get a little exhausting after a while.
well, and these gender reveal parties are getting to a level of ridiculousness that celebrities are being solicited to come and either like create a video or show up or be a part of the gender reveal in some way. And I'm like, good
Do
night.
you know what it is? Do you know what it is? People's lives are boring and they stink.
Yes.
And what they want to do is prove to everybody else, people that don't matter,
Yes.
that they're having a good time and their life is cool. They want validation from people that don't matter in the
Yes.
form of likes and comments. You know how I know that? Because I'm one of them. I think, let me post, my life's pretty boring. Let me post this picture of me and Omar from The Wire, and people will think I'm cool that I don't even talk to. That's exactly why I posted it. I want people to be like, whoa, you were hanging out with Omar from The Wire? Yeah, I'm cool. You see? In reality, yeah, not so much.
Yeah, in reality, you were walking out of a restaurant as he was walking in and you asked for a picture.
Well, it's not exactly what happened, but yeah, it might as well have been. We certainly didn't conversate before or after the picture. It was at a tailgate.
Right. You're not long distance pen pals now.
No, no, we are not.
Okay. But you're absolutely right. And, I was born and raised out in Wyoming. And when I go home to see the family, which I'll be doing here in a few short weeks for Thanksgiving, and when I hang out with my brother and his wife, they can give me the full rundown of what's happening in everybody's life because they see it on Facebook. And I'm like, guys, do you ever like call so and so up and say, hey, let's get together for drinks or dinner, or you bring your kids over to our house or we'll come to you and we can all hang out? And they always look at me like I have three heads. We're slowly migrating into becoming a culture of we don't want to engage with one another. We don't want to be inconvenienced in any sort of way, but we'll sit and observe one another via, online method and judge from the comfort of our own couches.
I apologize. We have to step away for a quick commercial. In today's world, your personal brand is your most valuable asset, one that requires constant care and nurturing. Firestarter is the team to do that. If you need PR, marketing, or branding, visit yourfirestarter.com. Okay, where were we?
Talking about how people sit on their couches.
I thought you would laugh at that.
I was so confused for a second. I was like, am I getting charged for this? Like,
No. I just threw that in there.
Oh, okay. I was so confused, but I didn't want to be a jerk and say like something snarky. I was like,
oh no,
okay, this
you
is
have a
great.
full platform to say snarky things.
I was so confused for a second. I was like, okay, we're just gonna roll with this. Fine, that's great.
Yeah. I just read off your website. I didn't really know what else to say. And
Well,
I was
you
going to go on and I heard
well,
complete silence. So I was like, oh, shit, I better wrap this up.
I appreciate it. But
Sure.
you read it with such enthusiasm. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. So,
So, oh, go ahead.
oh, no, you go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, we're talking about brand and we're talking about all of these things. Earlier today you mentioned Maryland football, and you
Mm.
mentioned on your segue in.
I was just going to
I'm
start talking about Maryland football. You read my
Yeah.
mind.
I mean, it's on everybody's mind if you're a Maryland fan or in the DC area. What
Yep.
what are your thoughts? I definitely have thoughts, but what are your thoughts?
I don't know enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, obviously, the medical staff and the strength and conditioning coach were at fault. And it sounds like the strength and conditioning coach had his problems,
Right.
major problems, and
Yeah.
they're totally at fault. Um, yeah, I mean, that should have been prevented in the first place. And while he was having a heat stroke, they obviously should have tended to him. As far as who else is to blame, I mean, it's certainly not a good look.
Mm-hmm.
It's if DJ Durkin goes to your living room and says he's going to take good care of your kid, you can't believe him. But at the same time, was he there? What did he really have? Did Is he really at fault for the whole thing? I
Right.
don't know. I don't know the answers to any of those questions. I wasn't there. I really don't know a lot about this other than it's just a terrible tragedy. And that's essentially it as far as what my thoughts are. It's not good. It doesn't seem like they're handling the situation too good either. They reinstated him yesterday, and I guess they realized there was such a huge backlash, and they made a mistake. And then they decided to fire him today, which
Yeah.
is
I mean, it's been a colossal f up from the top down, and a public relations nightmare for the University of Maryland and for University of Maryland athletics, and one that certainly will not disappear anytime soon. I mean, I also, like you, it's a little murky to me how much DJ Durkin knew, didn't know at the time, whatever. But, as many leadership coaches will say, the buck has to stop with him as the head coach. And, whether he was there, wasn't there, told him to treat, told them not to treat, whatever, he's still the head coach. And I think the responsibility did have to fall to him. But what I find very confusing is, um, about the strength coach and the medical staff. Um, why weren't they let go? I mean, the fault is there from the top
well, he
down.
was, wasn't he? Wasn't the
The
strength coach
strength coach.
let go
What
immediately?
about the rest of the medical staff?
Oh.
I wasn't sure of. I was actually trying to look that up before we hopped on the line. But the be that as it may, the buck has to stop with him. And NCAA sports is a big business, and I'm sure part of the reason that Maryland decided to reinstate him probably had something to do with money and buyout and that sort of thing.
Yeah, let's say best case scenario for DJ Durkins from his standpoint, he wasn't there. He had no knowledge of anything that happened. Maybe he was out recruiting or at home. Like the
Right,
coaches are hardly ever at home, but you know what I mean. He's not at the workout. And
right,
then he shows up the next day and he hears, or he gets a text or a call later that night and hears about Jordan McNair. That's best case scenario on his end. He had no involvement. Still, even still, moving forward, there's such a bad perception about the program and the staff. How do you have that guy lead your team? How do you
right,
have him and his staff walk into a kid's living room and look the parents in the eye and say, "I'm going to take good care of your son"?
right. And the
How,
answer is you can't.
yeah. So it's
You know,
almost like even if he didn't do anything wrong, he's sort of the scapegoat.
right. Absolutely. And that's, as a coach, that's part of the risk that you take. I mean, um, accidents and incidents happen every day in sports, all the way from the junior high level up to the pros. And as a coach, as the head coach, this is a daily risk that that they are open to as the head coach. And but for the university to reinstate him when there was so much concern, so much around this, and then to turn around and be like, oh, there's backlash. People are upset about this. Oh, okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and fire him. That's just a huge public relations snafu on the part of Maryland, and just makes them look even more incompetent as an organization moving forward. And the dominoes are starting to fall. Their accreditation is under review now. One of the boards, I think the head of the board of directors is stepping down. I mean, this is having far-reaching implications beyond just DJ Durkin, and it's all of this stuff. Even going back a little further with Urban Meyer and everything that went down at Ohio, and even to go out even further with U.S. gymnastics, these
Hmm.
organizations boggle my mind. They act like they've never heard of public relations before. I don't know who these buffoons are that are making these public relations decisions, but all of them got to go. I mean,
Yeah.
these situations have been just mishandled so badly. It really boggles my mind, and it's but for Maryland, I think they're going to feel the sting of this particular situation for a very, very long time.
You know what's interesting is this unfortunately hasn't been the first heat stroke related death in college football or in the NFL, but I don't remember a case where there were so many repercussions like this as far as people getting fired and they're becoming a whole scandal.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's just because it was just bumbled so
Mhm.
badly, and and nobody really got clear answers right away, and the school acted poorly. I mean, I believe it was the athletic director came out and said that we take full responsibility, which was nice of him, but um, it just felt like it was bumbled at every step right from jump. And
But what
I
does that
mean,
even mean? Okay, we take full responsibility, meaning what? Those are nice.
I
That
mean,
sounds nice.
right. Well, it's I'm not a lawyer, but from a legal standpoint, when you stand up at a press conference and say we take full responsibility, you're basically saying we dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
child died on our watch, and your child died because we weren't adhering to all the correct protocols and things that we know that we're supposed to do. That's what I take away when somebody says we take full responsibility. Um, why he why they did that is still a little boggling to me, because the investigation had not even fully concluded at this point, and so that tells me that internally there was discord, um, of what happened and how they were going to handle it. And I think, not to give Maryland any sort of leeway at all, but we live in a world now with social media and people being able to be their own mouthpiece for opinion on a public platform. I think a lot of organizations are rushing to make a statement. They're trying to get out in front of the story as quickly as possible. And when they do, I think they're effing themselves up more, to try to beat the wave of public opinion, because the jury of public opinion is swift and it's certain. And I think a lot of these organizations, especially when they're in the wrong, like the U.S. Gymnastics Association, like University of Maryland, they're wanting to get out front of it so quickly, that they don't even truly have all of their ducks in a row before they go out and speak. And I just think it creates confusion in amongst the people, and it creates just a cluster of what we've seen. But no, this isn't the first time a kid has died at football practice. I mean, I feel like since we were, junior high age, every late summer, early
Yeah,
fall,
happened at least once.
yeah, we hear of at least one kid who, had an undetected heart murmur and keeled over at practice because of that condition, or was dehydrated during two a days, or whatever the case may be. Um, I feel like we hear about it every single year, and I feel like the football community and the athletic training community, I feel like they do the training and provide the knowledge to help prevent this. Um, but I don't think it's ever going to be 100%.
Yeah, maybe in the all the other cases except this one, everything, all measures were taken to make sure this was prevented, or they tried to save the kid. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do. Where in this case, there was just a huge um, amount of negligence.
Right. Yeah. I think that's what we're looking at is gross negligence and just a bad job of PR and internal communication on behalf of
If
Maryland.
they hired you, if they came to you and said, "Help us out here,"
Yeah.
where would someone even begin? Did they hire a PR firm?
I don't, that's a good question. I don't know if they hired outside assistants, or they're working with I mean, because their athletic department has a communications person, the university has a communications person, their council, their in-house counsel is probably very involved with their statements. And so I don't know if they have gone beyond themselves, but if they came to me, um, I mean, if they came to me now, it's really more of just, um, getting the correct and complete information out to the public. The damage is done at this point. The nail has been put in the coffin with them. The fact that they finally fired the guy is their acknowledgement that the nail is in the coffin. So now when you come in, it's more about of looking at the situation and finding out what really happened and piecing together where they need to start as an organization to start explaining themselves and really start thinking of a way to um, uh, uh, help their donors and their large alumni base understand that they're aware of the problem at hand and that they are going to be doing what they can to win back their trust, and then the trust of the larger athletic and larger viewing community as a whole. But as far as where they are right now, the damage is done, and now it's about acknowledging it and building a strategy for moving forward and repairing their image.
I see. So I think bottom line is wipe the slate clean, start over.
Yeah, and I mean, and one question I wonder, and neither one of us probably know, but are do more people need to go? Do more people need to be fired before we can truly wipe the slate clean? Because this is not just um, i- incompetency on behalf of the athletic department. This is incompetency at the administrative level from the university as well. So, do more people need to be shown the door before we can truly they can truly start wiping the slate clean? And I don't know, not being inside, I'm speculating, but I wouldn't be shocked to see more heads roll before this truly gets put to bed.
They might as well just fire everyone.
Yeah, just off with their heads, all of them. All of them need to go. I
That's
mean,
it.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. But we have definitely taken a dark turn. I thought we were keeping it fun and funny.
Oh yeah, maybe we could edit some of this out.
we really like we really went dark there. But
There,
inquiring minds want to know.
yeah, yeah. And you have good insight on this topic,
Thank
and it's
you.
a hot topic.
It is a
There-
hot topic. It's a
There's
hot topic. This is like the third time I've been asked about it today. Like it's
really
definitely
all in
oh
one
yeah.
day.
Yeah, people want to know. Like
Yeah.
people want to figure out this puzzle.
If this were more of a national show, which it is not.
It will be one day.
Yes, exactly. But we're primarily Maryland and New Jersey, so and a lot of people from New Jersey go to Maryland, like my mom, my
What's up,
uncle.
New Jersey?
What's that?
I said, "What's up, New Jersey?"
Yeah, what's up, New Jersey? So we have a lot of jumping to another topic, a lot of
Yeah.
beefs going on. Cardi B and Nicki
Yes.
Minaj, that seems to have died down.
Yes. Yes.
Don
Yeah.
Lemon and White Men, although his boyfriend is white. That's a
Um,
hell of a beef. That's being talked about a lot. One beef that's not being talked about by anyone. I haven't
right.
heard this at all.
Yes.
Josh Duhamel
Mhm.
and Draymond Green. By the way, I was in Transformers 2. I don't know if you know this about me.
No, I did not know
Yeah, it
that.
was a featured extra. I got to play a soldier on the Nest team. You know, the Nest team was led by none other than Josh Duhamel. So
I
Josh,
mean,
I'm going to be biased about this beef since Josh Duhamel and I are best friends.
yes. Yes,
Well, I
you're
wouldn't
very
say we're best friends. We had dinner together 10 years ago, and I haven't. That's about it. But out
Would
of
he remember this? Would he remember this dinner?
yeah, probably because one of my really good friends was a good friend of his.
Okay.
So I would just be like, "Hey, I'm Josh Kelly's friend, and I was in Transformers 2, and I had dinner with you one night." And he would say, "Oh yeah," and he probably maybe you would remember, maybe you wouldn't, but he's a nice
Maybe.
enough guy. He would go, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" He is a super cool guy. Out of
Yes,
all,
he's
I've met a
really
lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes. Um, I would say he's the most real, down to earth guy I've met out of any celebrity. Super awesome
okay.
guy. So I'm
Okay.
I'm Team Dumel here in his feud with Draymond Green, who he referred to as a prick in an
Mhm.
interview
Mhm.
when he was being asked about Fergie's. Um, well, let's be honest, she botched the national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty
Yeah.
bad, but he wasn't too. I like the way it also shows what a guy is. They're not married anymore; they're divorced.
Nope. Nope.
And he defended her honor. Should all ex-husbands have to defend their ex-wives' honor, or is that just
uh,
like a little extra that it's not
I
required, but it's like thanks, Josh Duhamel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they ended their marriage on very amicable terms. So him coming to her defense uh, doesn't surprise me. I mean, there was actual images of him showing up at her house the day after
Yeah,
the All Star game, kind of to hang out. So they're clearly still pretty tight. But I gotta say, what the f was Fergie thinking? Like somebody in her crew at some point, because they rehearsed this stuff. She didn't just show up that night and was like, I'm gonna roll out the anthem this way. Somebody in her crew should have been like, you know what, this ain't it. We should kind of just go back to good old standard anthem and
yeah.
go about our business. So I don't know what she was thinking. I specifically remember watching that and absolutely cringing and feeling I was literally hiding under my blanket. I felt so bad for her. Like
I
hiding my face
I
under my
agree.
blanket.
I agree with Josh Duhamel though that Draymond Green probably knew that he didn't have to make that expression. I mean, you could think to
Yeah,
yourself, this is terrible, but
it's inappropriate and he shouldn't have done it. He knew he was on national television. He knew because these guys are not ignorant to the fact that cameras are panning on them at all
yeah,
moments of the game, especially during the national anthem and times where they're standing still and can be photographed. So he knew it was happening. He acted very, very immature,
sure.
and
I
and
like
and I think Josh was right for stating
this
his
feud should
statement.
be escalated.
I don't think Josh Dumel is an escalator.
He's
I think
not.
he said what
No.
he said, and I think that's pretty much where it's gonna where
But
it's
then,
gonna stay.
but then they took it a step further and did a put together what they thought was a cute little video of them dancing to the
Mhm.
Fergie national anthem remix.
Yep. Which again,
Coming from
it
the most, I hate the Warriors. By the way, I hate them. I like Clay Thompson. I don't mind the fact that they're good. I actually root for dynasties. Like I have no
right,
problem with Tom Brady. I don't know why
right.
everybody hates him. I
I don't know
I
either.
can't
I love
stand
Tom Brady
everybody
design.
on that team except Clay Thompson. They are Durant, Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, the most. Oh man, don't even get me started. But they're just overly sensitive. Okay, so can you imagine Josh Duhamel in the cast of Transformers or whatever movie he's
Right,
going to be in,
right,
making a video where they're making fun of Aisha Curry's cooking?
right.
They would
Yes,
never hear the end of it.
yes. All hell would
And
break
then
loose.
he has the audacity to make a video making fun of Fergie Ferg. I don't like it.
And then they play it over and over. I mean, it's gotten millions of
Look,
of views.
we all like to make fun of people, and sometimes it's deserved when they.
Right.
But shouldn't Josh Duhamel demand a little more respect? They should know who her ex husband is, the father of her child.
I don't think that
If they don't
plays
know
into.
who he is,
Yeah, I think they don't care. I'm
they
sure
don't
they
care
know.
about anything. They don't care
They
about
don't care.
anybody.
They're above it.
Oh yeah.
And and the unfortunate thing about celebrity and athletes in particular, and I say this with a lot of inside knowledge, is some of them, not all of them, I want to be very clear, some people get to a point of where they just are, they feel like they're completely untouchable
Mm-hmm.
and they can say and do whatever they want. But the second somebody stands up to them or takes a shot at them, all hell breaks loose. And I talk when I talk to coaches and administrators at both um, the collegiate level and at the pro level. I talk a lot about brand is also about being humble and being a good person.
So you're working with colleges too, college
Oh
athletic
yeah.
programs. Okay.
Yeah, I have clients that are junior high all the way up to retired professionals like our mutual friend Matt. Um,
Yes.
and
Yep.
so I work at every stage. I have clients at every stage of their career, and I always preach to young athletes, junior high, high school, college level,
Are you
that
basically teaching them to not be assholes?
yeah,
Okay.
basically. I mean, that's brand obviously is a big umbrella, but the biggest part that underneath all of this brand stuff and all of this PR and marketing and all of this strategy that clearly I'm able to talk about at nauseum, the big thing underneath all of it is teaching these young men and women not to be assholes and how to basically maintain your assholeness because celebrity, it gets to you. And when people are constantly catering to your every need and people are constantly telling you how fantastic you are and women are just literally throwing themselves at you, it really is hard to keep perspective.
They
It
are
really is.
literally throwing themselves.
I mean, I have I have been in a room where a woman literally
She like
threw
picked herself up and
she
threw
like
herself at the player.
well, it was like we were in like a VIP section and she like just kind of lunged
Oh,
for lack
that's
of
as
a
close
better.
as it gets to throwing themselves at
I
somebody.
mean, she literally just kind of like lunged and so when these things are happening, it really is.
Can you
I'm not.
share who that player was so I can
No,
put a juicy
absolutely
headline?
not.
I know you can. I'm just kidding.
I'm absolutely
I
not.
know. I know.
But no, when these things are even at the college level and high school level, these young men and young women are just treated a different way by everyone around them, and it's really really important to help them maintain a sense of being grounded, a sense of being humble, because otherwise they turn into people who make parody videos about somebody's wife
Mm.
and think it's hilarious. And that's not a good look for any of those guys. Now granted, they'll walk away from this situation completely unscathed. Their fans are their fans
Not
and
if I have
these
anything to do with it. Josh Duhamel, if
I
you're
know
listening, I
clearly.
got your back. If you want to make parody movies about the
Yeah.
Warriors, let's do it.
I mean, like it. Well, I mean, I should say that nothing that happens in the sports world surprises me. But the key thing is helping these individuals, remain not jerks and helping them understand that you have to not be a jerk every day of your life. You don't get good person credits if one day, you sign baseball cards for a kid and then the next day at an event you yell at a kid and tell the kid to go away from you. It's helping them learn how to have boundaries and learn how to be a good person all the time and not make mean parody videos, because that's just not cool. And um, that's definitely not cool of them. And Steph Curry always likes, he's definitely positioned his brand that he's a good guy, that he's a family guy, that he's all about doing the right thing and supporting the community. He should have thought different before participating in that video, because I know for a fact if somebody made one about his wife, he would
Yeah.
be none too
Oh
happy
God,
about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hear the end
So
of it.
yeah, so I think it's more of just reminding these people that, hey, you wouldn't like that if somebody did that about you. So maybe have some common sense and some humility not to do that.
Yeah, if someone's minding their business, there's no reason to really like publicly humiliate them or try to. If somebody comes at
Right.
you, then it's fair game. Like
But
Josh
I mean,
Duhamel
this
could say whatever he wants about those guys, or Fergie, and it
right.
would be fine because they started it.
But I think because Josh and Fergie are classy people,
Yeah,
I'm I'm sure they are.
yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing anything, and rightfully so. If they were my client, I would tell them not to engage in this conversation whatsoever, because these guys, they can keep it going. Keep in mind that they have fan bases that are young, that think this kind of stuff is funny, and so nobody wins when you engage with these kinds of online beefs.
Have you ever had a client that was about to get involved in something like this, and you caution them away from it?
Yes, yes. So when Kevin Durant when it was discovered that he had his burner account, and was responding to people about posts about him, I did have a client contact me and was like, "I'm totally doing this. I want to respond back to my haters and all of this," and I was like, "Absolutely not, absolutely not." And I got it in writing that I had nothing to do, like, I want nothing to do with this. I don't advise you to do this. Colossally bad idea. One,
Was it
because
Jerry Colangelo?
no, 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 no. Oh my God, no. But one, a lot of people, when celebrities and athletes and politicians do these kinds of things, people don't, the general public don't understand the concept of brand equity. Someone like Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Serena Williams, they have a massive amount of brand equity. And by that, I mean, they can do crazy, random, stupid things. And in time, it's going to disappear. And it might pop up every once in a while when someone wants to dig it back up. But by and large, their brand is going to withstand something like that. If you're not as well known as a celebrity, or God forbid, you have a terrible season, or get accused of a crime or something like that, you don't have the brand equity to bring yourself back from that, and it can be
So then what do
devastating.
you do? There's nothing you can do?
I mean, no, you just kind of have to chill out for a while and recalibrate. Think of creative ways to be positive and keep your nose clean for a while, so that we can rehab and get you more integrated with your fan base again in a positive way. Not all depending. Let me stress by saying, depending on the magnitude of what happened, but you just kind of have to be cool for a little bit and recalibrate, and of course play well and be a good good steward online and in the community, and we can get back there. But when it comes to sponsorships and endorsements and those kinds of things, if you're a smaller celebrity, a lesser known athlete, the sponsors just aren't going to come after somebody who's acting juvenile, who is acting in participating in brand negative, as I call it, activity. Um and so I always caution, especially my younger clients, just it's not worth it. It might seem funny in the moment, or someone takes a shot at you and you're hot in the moment. Just walk away from it. Just, it's not worth it to have to fix because you went on an online terror, because someone didn't like your shoes, or somebody said your car wasn't yours, or
Mm.
whatever the case, or you create a burner account, or your wife creates a burner account and is um, tweeting at people about you. It's like, you can be found out quickly. People are much smarter than people get, than celebrities and athletes give them credit for, and they can connect the dots very
So far, two
quickly.
people have been found out, and one was fired.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not worth it, and I tell younger guys all the time, that person who might be saying stupid things about you could be some 12-year-old boy sitting in his, bedroom in I don't know,
Just got done
nowhere.
with Tommy's happy time, and now he's
Right. Like,
oh, that
it's
was great. We're gonna edit that out.
I mean, I tell guys all the time, like, and I even have the same conversation with guys who are retired and have, been in the game a long time. It's like there are comments that are worth doing something about, and there are comments that just aren't. And most of the comments online just aren't.
No,
And
I can't see any of them being worth doing something.
I
You
mean,
could
if something
consider the
is if
source of
something
who they're
is
coming from.
slander. Right. I mean, depending on who it is, but if the statement is slanderous or could lead to legal proceedings because of what is said, then of course, that's something worth talking about. That doesn't necessarily mean that you respond to the person. It could mean that we're handling the issue behind the scenes. But most of this stuff, I tell guys all the time, you would not believe the comments that I get on a daily basis.
That you get
They Yeah. Oh,
from
yeah.
who? Doing what?
Oh, God. I get the most vile, disgusting comments every single day. Like,
On your Instagram?
oh, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I mean, I had a guy send me a
LinkedIn.
dick pic through LinkedIn once.
Oh, say that
Like,
again.
a guy sent me a dick pic through LinkedIn.
That has got to be a first. A LinkedIn dick pic.
Uh-huh.
I've never
He
heard of
sent
such a thing.
I mean, we can crown him the world's biggest idiot, but um, I mean, I tell guys all the time, I'm like, you have someone saying that they thought you played like crap or whatever. Think about it for a second. I'm nobody. I'm not famous at all. I'm like
Damn it,
negative.
Francis, you are somebody. Don't say that about
I'm
yourself.
I'm negative famous, and I get the most vile, disgusting things like
Let's hear
like
some more. Dick pic on
oh my
LinkedIn is really that
yeah,
takes the
the
cake.
dick pic on LinkedIn was definitely a crowning moment. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I took a screenshot of it and sent it to all my girlfriends. I was like, I cannot believe this. So I have to share this with all of you. But
You know, Draymond
um
Green accidentally put a dick pic on Snapchat and shared it to a story instead of the girl he was intending to send it to.
oh, those guys shouldn't be on Snapchat. But
Yeah, and I've
um
heard, I don't know whatever would prompt somebody to do something like that. I've anyway. Don't women find the men genitalia disgusting? Anyway,
yes, yes,
yeah, I
we
know
do.
that. So I would never take a picture and send it to some girl.
I've
Um,
had I've had agents who, like, I'm trying to work with them, like they, one of their clients needs some help, or they want to partner with me on a project. I've had agents send me dick pics
so
in the
Francis,
middle of the
let me
night.
talk to you about this wonderful softball event I would like to do with you and my client. But first, look at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
did you collaborate with them on the event?
No. No.
Uh-huh.
No.
I figured.
I immediately take a screenshot and send it to my attorney. So no, no, um, no. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, um, I was at a sports function several months ago and met a guy. We had, nice conversation. I give him my business card because, that's what you do at networking functions. I'm in my Uber on my way home, just a 25-minute Uber ride. And in the Uber ride, he sends a dick pic. I'm like, what
Are you
on
talking
earth?
about when I met you last week and then
No,
you sent me your no, I'm just kidding.
no, 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 no. This is a different event. But I was just like, I
So
just
that's weird that
left
you've gotten a lot
you.
of these dick pics.
I do. I get a lot of offers for guys to impregnate me, which is very scary. That guys would just willingly be like, you know, I'll have a kid with you. It's like, what?
Are they kidding?
No. I don't know. I don't even entertain a response to them. Like, I had a guy send me a note on Instagram, and I mentioned that I was without child, and he sent this long diatribe of a DM, just saying that we would produce the most beautiful children, so we should get on top of this, and he'd be more than happy. And I'm like, who? What the?
Is that
Like,
a real
what?
person?
Yeah,
Yeah,
real person.
I get weird messages from you know, skanky looking women all the time that it's clearly some old fat guy in Saudi Arabia that's just trying to get me to send him his credit card. I laugh like, "Hey, what do you do?" Oh, please, it's not you.
I mean, I had one guy call me. So my on Instagram, I have it as a business account,
So
and
your
so you
phone's
can.
on there and he called you?
He called, and I'm like, hi, this is Francis. How can I help you? And he's just sitting there like breathing on the other end of the phone, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hang up now.
I'm
And
un-
so I hang up,
I'm uncomfortable listening
and
to this.
I blocked the number.
Uh-huh.
And so the guy switches over to WhatsApp and calls me again and sits there and is just like oddly breathing. And so I blocked it on WhatsApp. And a couple days later on Instagram, I get this diatribe of a DM asking why I was so rude to him and why I didn't just sit there and talk. I'm
That's
like,
very
what?
interesting. I have to
What?
say, breathing heavy is much creepier than a dick pic, I would
Yes,
think.
yes, yes. In the, Law and Order SVU spectrum of creepy, the breathing on the other end of the phone is, yeah,
Because
yeah,
it
much.
sounds like that person wants to kill you. A dick pic,
Yeah,
they're
pretty
just,
much.
trying to shoot their shot and
Yes.
get a date.
Well, I used to, last year I had I had an internet radio show, and once a week I would do my little radio show. And one week a guy sent me an email and was like, "Love the show. Tune in every week. Next week, can you sit a little lower at the desk because your stomach fat rolls are a little distracting?"
That is mean.
I was like, okay, all right. I was like, wow, okay. I mean, but my whole thing is, and I always laugh at these because I'm like, what is going on in your life that you are going to take the time to email somebody something so mean? Like,
That
I almost
that
feel
made
bad.
me sit lower even though we're not on camera, so my fat rolls wouldn't be on top of the desk.
I just, when I get nasty, like I got an email once from a woman who was like, I love your show, it's really funny, but I just really think you're too heavy. You should think about losing weight to be on the show. And I was like, wow. I just wrote her back and I was like, thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a blessed week. I
I
just
don't like hearing any of this stuff. This is mean.
but it's like I just when I read this stuff, or when I read some of the messages that come into some of my clients' accounts, I just sit there and I'm like, what is going on in your life that you take the time to say such hateful, awful things to people? Like, I have never once in my life ever said something like that to somebody, nor would I ever.
Yeah,
And so it's like
people's lives
I'm like,
suck. But that's how
yeah.
you know you've arrived, though. You've made it once you have
Yes.
haters. I
Yes.
put
Yes.
I have a uh, Brent Connor show Instagram separate from my personal account, and
Right.
I put up a impression of me doing a Tony Soprano from a few weeks ago. Most Pretty much all the messages were good. Oh, this is great. And then somebody says, sounds nothing like him. And then I said, get your ears checked. Stop hating. And they said, what are
Right.
you going to do about it? I'm
Oh
like,
my
hey, I
God.
have a hater. Have I made it?
I was on CNN a few years back with um, Sanjay Gupta and Oprah and Gail and that whole crew, and we were talking.
You were on
Uh,
CNN with Oprah.
yeah,
Where can one
yeah.
go about finding this? Is it on the tube
You
of
can
views?
Google it. Yeah, I can send you the clip too.
Okay.
You can.
We'll we'll post it.
Okay. It's on my Instagram. You have to dig a ways back, but it's on there.
And how can
Uh,
you say you are a negative celebrity? You are something else.
I am a negative celebrity. Like, if I was a positive celebrity, I wouldn't have to
Listen to
beg
me. You're on TV
government.
with Oprah.
You
You're getting dick pics. How much more of a celebrity could you be?
I want to be the kind of celebrity that good looking guys call and say, yes, I will actively take you out on a date. All I get is guys that have just been released from a workhouse
We're gonna
asking
find you
me.
a New Year's date.
Yes, yes, we do, because this is beyond ridiculous. Like, my family is starting to threaten to take out billboards. Like, it's getting to that level. Um,
Oh, it'll happen when you least expect it.
I'm just, but I'm just I'm just ready to not, like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm ready to not be single. Like, a year ago or 2 years ago, if we would have been having this conversation, I would have been like, I don't care.
You know
I'm
what?
single. I can
I got a
do
friend. I think you met him.
what I want. Which
Oh,
one?
we're not gonna name names on this
Did
publication, but
was I talking? Did I talk to this
you
individual?
sure did.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
observed
yeah,
the interaction, and I thought there was a
yeah.
spark between the two of you.
Oh my gosh. And I also, I don't think he realizes that I'm much older than he is. So there's that factor too.
How old do you think he is?
He's like 28.
No, 30.
Okay, well, I'm still much older than him.
Not that much older. I think if you're between the age of 23 and 39, you're the same age
Well,
in
I'm
terms of
39.
dating. You
So
guys are the same age.
no, no, because I've been married, I've been divorced, I've been on my own for a long time. That that that
Wait a
puts
minute.
me,
Why is your family so worried about taking out billboards if you've already been married? It's not,
because I got divorced a decade
but
ago.
that's
A
fine. It's
decade.
not like my family was worried. I'm 34 and I, for the first time, have like an actual girlfriend. They were getting really worried. They're like, this is ridiculous. That is grounds to be worried, not if you've already been married.
They don't like the fact that I um, am running this business and living this life all by myself. My dad would like, someone to be around to, take care of me. And my brother just wants a brother-in-law. Like, tired of
Having a
he's tired.
brother-in-law is a very cool thing.
Yeah, he's tired of not having a brother-in-law, and I think he's never stated, but he keeps prodding me about kids, so I think he's a little concerned that I'm never going to have any. And so I think the family is just, starting to be like, why has she been single for a decade? Why, what's going on here? And they know the reason why. I've been very focused on my career. I've lived abroad. I've done all kinds of stuff. Like, it's not like I've been sitting here with my, in my house coat with my cats. And but now that 40 is literally right there out in front of me, I think they're starting to get a little like, is she going to be that chick that just stays single for the rest of her life? Which there's nothing wrong with that, but I think my dad would sleep a little better at night if I had at least a committed boyfriend. Like,
Well,
I
Mr.
think he.
Reimers, we're gonna help your daughter ultimately help you sleep better at night.
Yeah, he doesn't like the fact that I'm always on the road and I'm always doing things,
You
and
do seem to
and
travel a lot. What are you doing on the road? Are you making public
I mean,
speeches? You do public speaking, right?
yeah. So public speaking is one of my passions. I love going and giving presentations, and I talk about brand, I talk about marketing, I talk about leadership, I talk about motivational stuff, and so I've been doing speeches around the country for years, and so it's a line of business for me, and I love doing it. Um, and then appearances on radio and TV, which is also, a huge passion of mine. I keep trying to get myself a regular spot on like a sports radio show or a sports TV show, because I think, athletes, brands, and their reputation and what they're doing with sponsorships and all of this is a topic that's only going to keep growing. And obviously, this is something I know a little something about, and so I always like to insert myself into sports shows to be like, hey, I can talk about that.
Do you ever think about
Um,
starting your own sports show that also covers other topics, like we've discussed today, with maybe another co-host, maybe a guy?
yeah,
No, I'm asking for a
I
friend.
I pitched it out to a couple of stations, and I even said, I don't care who you match me up with. I definitely have a short list of people that I would love to co-host with, but if you have somebody else in mind, we'll make it work.
Who's your list?
And
Let's hear it. Do we know these people? Or
no, not
are they
really.
just people like me?
Yeah, just friends of mine, people in my inner circle who I know are insightful and funny, and can talk about a wide range. I don't want to be on a show with just a stat guy, because that's not, there's enough stat
There's enough
shows
stat
out.
nerds out there.
Yeah, I don't want that. And I think more sports enthusiasts are wanting to talk about the lifestyle. They're wanting to talk about the everyday of these athletes, and so stats. And unless we're talking about engagement and reach and how much money they've earned in sponsorships, I don't think this show was really what a stat person would be applicable for. But I I pitched it out to a few people and got a little discouraged. And so I put it on a shelf for a little bit. A couple of people were like, you don't have enough cred in the sports industry. And I'm like, what?
How much credit do you
Which I,
need? All you need is to know people.
yes,
That's it.
yes. And so it's funny. I can't say who, but I have a meeting early next week to talk about the show again because I'm not really willing to let it go.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
It's definitely with Blake Griffin.
no, no. um, I think this is a good idea, and I think in the DC metro area alone, there's just so many people and personalities and topics that can be covered on a daily basis that I'm not really willing to, let go
Yeah,
of this bone.
there's always something to talk about. I did a lot of practice sessions over the summer
Right.
because I had a co-host lined up, and I was at times would get worried, like, what are we going to talk about this week? But there's always something. Something always pops up.
Yeah. And I mean, in the world of sports and culture and politics, all of this is really starting to meld. And so, yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's a 30-minute show with some commercial breaks and maybe a guest appearance
Yeah.
every week. There's plenty to talk about. And so I'm going to keep pitching it. I'm going to keep knocking on doors, and because there's no better person to talk about athletes and reputation and the implications of the cross section of sports and culture and politics than me. I've been working in it for 20 years, so um, uh, and I just think I would be great. So yeah, so that's a passion of mine. But I do go around the country and speak, and I speak at colleges and with pro teams, talking about brand and different angles about brand. Obviously, at the professional level, the guys are really wanting to know, how to monetize their brand, how to what they have to do to earn as much money as they possibly can. But also, a lot of these guys have publicists and brand managers, and so I talk a lot about how to manage that staff. What should you be asking? What should you be doing? How to get the most bang for your buck from the people that you are entrusting with your brand. And I also talk a lot about legacy planning. A lot of professional athletes, they think of, oh, I'm going to start a charity, or oh, I'm going to become a franchisee. These are all great decisions, but they're all part of your legacy, and they all tie into your personal brand. And so, how do you make all of these decisions, and how do you get all of this to work under a cohesive brand? And who is responsible for that? Who maintains it? Who keeps it going? Because obviously, the athlete is not always the person that is doing the heavy lifting with their brand. So, I talk about that at the pro level and for retired athletes. But at the collegiate level, it's about how to represent yourself appropriately, how to keep yourself from, gotcha moments because you didn't audit your account, or you said something that was just really stupid or inappropriate at the time. And how do you prepare yourself for the larger world, because most collegiate athletes are not going to turn pro. So how do they go from their brand in this spotlight bubble of collegiate sports out to the real world, where we don't care about how they're feeling that day, and they have to act appropriately so they can get a job. So I speak around the country, with people at all levels. And I talk to people outside of the sports world too, a lot of corporate meetings and annual conferences and things like that. And I love it. It's always lots of fun, and people always ask great questions, and I love doing it because the more I speak, the more I have to keep re-educating myself about my own craft. And so, because you never want to be up on stage and have somebody ask a question that you just absolutely don't know the answer to. So, I'm always having to read and educate myself about what's going on out there, so I can, stay on top of whatever they need. But I love it. I always encourage people that, especially like, our mutual friend, Matt Stover, if you have a great platform and you have a great message, get out there and talk about it. But be prepared. Have your speech rehearsed, have your presentation looked at by a professional. Don't just you know hop on hop on a plane and go somewhere and stand up at the podium um, and just talk off the cuff, because that's not doing the audience their just due, and it's really not helping your brand either. You're just standing up there rambling. So um, if you're going to do it, be prepared for it, and give your audience what they came for.
Sure. Well, Francis, we really covered a lot, didn't we?
We did. I mean, we went from thoughtful, humbling topics all the way to dick pics. I think we've done a complete 360.
When you could cover serious topics, discuss the joy of Halloween and gender reveal parties, and talk dick pics, you had a good show,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, this is a solid. This is one for the ages.
Sure. Well, I agree. There's nobody better to talk sports with or current events. You should have your own show. And when you're pitching it,
Thank
keep some people in mind, maybe as a co host. Maybe. Maybe.
I definitely noted.
Noted? Oh, that means I'm on the shelf. Or does it mean something different coming from a
I
woman?
mean, I don't know what it means to our mutual friend, but for me, it's front of mind.
Okay, good. Good deal. I like it. All righty. Well, I guess that's it. I guess we're done. Right? This is always awkward when I wrap up. Is there like
Do you,
Do I play us out with certain music? What does that mean to play us out? Remember that, Bill O'Reilly?
I mean, like, are you going to tell people where they can find me and where they can find you if they want to
Very good.
learn more?
Very, very good. Well, I post this everywhere I possibly can, but if they want to find you, they will find
Hmm.
you by typing in
They'll
Francis
find
Reimers
they'll
on
they'll
LinkedIn
find me.
and sending
Yep.
a dick pic. I'm just
Hmm.
kidding.
Yes.
But on Instagram, you are
I am Firestarter CEO.
Firestarter CEO.
Hmm.
Okay.
And on Twitter, I am your Firestarter.
Do you hear that, people? Your fire starter. And do you hear that, future New Year's Eve date? She's your fire starter, if you know what I mean.
I mean, it's New Year's Eve. You
Maybe you'll
just got to
find
go all
out
out.
if she's your fire starter.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh, dear.
It's gone off the
Yeah,
rails.
it sure has. All right. Well, we can stop recording here and
Okay.
I'll call you in a second.
Okay.
But, we'll just wrap up. Thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye bye.